wonderful friends. Today we're diving into the 6 cash flow keys that make up your profit code blueprint. And we're talking specifically about the client key, which is the second of the 6 cash flow keys. The last episode was about your calling key, the first of the 6 cash flow keys, and really the largest part of your profit code blueprint because it's all about your personal brand, the expression, its essence, your work in the world, who you're called to be, and the frequency really that you share no matter what else you're doing. It's what people pick up on, and it's really your greatest gift. Now, it's not to mean that some shadowy elements and other conditioning and influences and expectations don't merge and perhaps throw this off, but it means that when you have your profit code blueprint, you're going to get a lot clearer on what your calling key is and what the nucleus of your personal brand essence and the work that you're here to do and the transformation that you're here to create is. So now we move to the client key or the client attraction key, and that's where the magic of effortless attraction happens. So let me ask you something. How many times have you created what you thought was the perfect offer, poured your heart into the copy, and maybe even had a beautiful sales page, only to hear crickets? Now, how many times have you sat down to write out your ideal client avatar, who you're targeting? Any kind of coach or business advisor worth their weight would ask you who you want to serve. But it feels like really hard to define sometimes. You think back about the clients that you have had and realize that some of them are great, some are pretty good, and some you would rather run for the hills than ever have to work with again. So how can you start to understand more about how you can call in more of the ones that you would have again and again and again? I remember learning back in the day from Dean Jackson, and he had his 8 profit activators. And one of those, he had an exercise which talked about if you think about all the great clients that you've worked with and you got to write a letter to the universe just calling in those clients, what would it say? And that's a great exercise, but it's also but I don't quite know exactly what those clients are because sometimes they were different. The thing that pulls it all together is the resonance that you have with those clients. The fact that they recognize that you were the one with the solution, the answers, the next step for them to get the problem solved, get the outcome that they wanted, get your solution. And this client key is really all about what those values that you naturally have, share, are drawn to, how you then formulate and express them into the ideals that run through you and that you are excited and wanting to share in the world and wanting to infuse into your brand as well. Because let's face it, we can attract any kind of clients with marketing. Marketing can do that. I can give you a strategy to bring in a buyer. Whether you actually want to work with that buyer will be a different thing. Whether you feel energized or drained after working with that buyer will be another thing. The amount of drama that ensues from certain clients does depend on you having an understanding of your client key and understanding where that shared value and resonance can come into play. Now, here's what I know about helping hundreds of women with their marketing over the years is that most of us aren't overly clear about the kind of clients that we want to bring in. Sometimes we want to believe it's about who's going to pay. Sometimes it's about what's popular, what they want, rather than what we want to stand for and what we want to represent. That means that we then ignore this powerful opportunity that we have to magnetize the right people to us because we're overlooking what we're putting out and what we're broadcasting in that sense, and we're going straight to them. It can cause a bit of a mismatch, and sure, it can bring clients in, but it can bring more of the wrong clients in. So we want to turn that dial into understanding and having more clarity of our own magnetic resonance. What do we value? What do we care about so that we can be in integrity with what we're offering? Because really that's where we want to start. Whereas a lot of marketing out there teaches you go and find a hungry audience and, give them, a lot of food. That's sort of your first place to start. But what they're not understanding is that you have the ability through your energy and through aligning with your design to actually make people hungry for what you have and get them to resonate with what you have. And the client key is a very important part of that. So what is the client key? Your client key reveals how you express those innate values and ideals that are within you that you are called to share naturally. So the client key will share with you how that shows up, the role that you play, how you can express that for more effortless attraction. It'll also give you that insight into then how the right people will respond to that. So if you know that this is a way that you're going to show up, it will govern how people recognize that you're the right solution for them. And when you use it in conjunction with your calling key, it can be a really powerful way to attract more clients and specifically more of the right clients. Think of it like this. You know how some people just light you up the moment you meet them? There's an instant recognition. And that feeling of, yes, they get me. Yes, we're on the same page. That's what you want with clients because it just takes a whole lot of the friction out of them saying yes and them coming to invest and give you money, enable you to charge more, enable you to generate demand. This is that X factor that does that. Now, oftentimes we might be told that that's about posting a lot on social media and doing a lot of advertising. And yes, all of those marketing strategies have their place, but this is like that X factor essence that multiplies everything and allows your advertising to work so much better because you'll know what your people are looking for and allows your social media to land more because people can instantly understand that you are the right person for them. Because that's not an accident, that's energetic alignment. Your client key shows you the kind of person, what they would respond to, what energy signature they have, what life situation will increase the chance of them saying yes to you. And here's the beautiful part. When you understand this, client attraction stops being about convincing and starts being about recognition and resonance, which is so much more powerful, so much more valuable, and works so much better. It's not going to leave you depleted or disappointed at the end of it. There's just a natural magnetism that works for both sides. It's your win-win scenario. And you want to be able to leverage that. So understanding your client key is such a great part of being able to do that. So why does this change everything for the way that you market? Well, your client key gives you a different perspective about how to leverage what's already within, the natural genius and nature that's already there waiting to be taken advantage of. You don't have to be anyone different than who you are. It's not about all the experience and certifications and everything that you have. Now, that can come into play with some of the client keys for sure, but it's not the only thing. So it gives you a chance to leverage what you already have. So you don't have to do more. You just have to be more of who you already are. Like this is like Linda, one of my clients who retired from her profession and industry of choice. But one of the biggest elements of the success that she's had in business is because people who have come from that industry know that she has been in that industry and she understands what they are living, what they are going through, and they want to be part of something that is led by someone who understands that and who is part of that. She has that connection and that heart in her client key. It's a big part of how she attracts her clients, that recognition that she understands them, and she creates this powerful community and association of like-minded women. And that is one of the biggest conversion factors she has. That is one of the biggest client attraction levers she can pull time and time again. So this is where you can also understand, even if you did want to serve a different part of the market, how could you still use some of those values, the values of still having communities and networks come together, even if you don't want to still serve that same market. So this enables you to be able to pivot more effectively when you understand your client key. Now, your client key doesn't work in isolation. It's part of this harmony between all of the 6 keys that create your complete profit code blueprint. So your calling key shows you what you're here to give, your personal brand, the essence of what you're here to share, and how you're here to express it. Your client key reveals the shared values between the people you're here to serve, how that resonates with them, what specifically resonates with them, and how you're designed to share those values and ideals with your audience to get paid more often and at a higher rate with less effort. It's that X factor of how you pull in the best clients. Like I said, we could bring in as many clients as we want, but we want to bring in more of the right clients. And this is the way that you do that. But here's what's fascinating. The client key acts as a filter for all of the keys. It builds on your calling key, but it becomes the filter for your communication key, because once you understand who you wanted to be calling in and what they value, then you can shape your message through your communication key that way. Then we go to look at your connection key, how you create containers and opportunities to come together to create transformation, value, and ensure that you generate lasting results and epic visibility and momentum in your marketing and delivery. Then you can think about your courage key and how to take action based on those other keys. And then finally, looking at that contribution key, that legacy work that you're here to do, which is, of course, part of these values and how they resonate and how you pull people in to do the great legacy work that you are here to do. So they're all interconnected. But this is why understanding this after understanding your calling key is the next step, because it's really how you're pulling the people that you're designed to impact through to you. What are those shared values? How do they resonate and how do you magnetize them? That's why the client key is so valuable to know in your branding, messaging, and offer delivery journey. And most importantly, in your profitability, because this is one of the cornerstones of why people are going to choose you, why they're going to value you, and how you're going to enjoy delivering transformations and value to them. This is where business stops feeling like pushing a boulder uphill like Sisyphus and starts feeling like you're finally swimming downstream. When you're working with energetically aligned clients, a few magical things happen. First, they find you instead of you having to chase them. And I'm talking about those incredible moments when someone slides into your DM saying, I don't know how I found you, but I feel like you're speaking directly to me. One of my current clients said to me, oh, my perfect client showed up, and that was just from a Facebook ad. They didn't even know her before, but they knew straight from the ad because it was in alignment with her client key, the words that we were expressing. Of course, it was with her communication key, of course, with all of the calling keys. And second, they're ready to invest. No more endless nurture sequences or convincing campaigns. When someone recognizes their energetic match, they move quickly because they know you can help them. Third, the work that you do becomes effortless because it's natural for you. You're not constantly second guessing yourself. You want to help these people because they are in alignment with your mission, your meaning, and the work that matters to you. And they understand it and they value it naturally. You don't have to do this huge education with them. You don't have to feel like you're speaking a foreign language. You're in your zone of genius with people who amplify your energy instead of depleting it. This is actually uncanny, but my favorite clients, when I have a look at their client key, so your client key actually comes from your conscious Venus in your human design chart. Now, I don't share all the gate and line information when I'm talking about the Cashflow Keys, even though that is where this information stems from, synthesized in terms of practical business strategy and simplifying it in a way that you can apply it and understand what it means for your business and for more effortless growth and opportunity and getting your personal brand out there. But what's interesting is all my favorite clients have exactly that same client key. They see my values, they recognize it, and we have that coming together, regardless of our human design type or profile. Profile does help with this as well, but definitely this key, if I look at all my long-term clients that come back again and again and are just easy and a daydream to work with, same number. So that just means that even without knowing your specific human design, you can start to notice patterns. Think about your favorite clients, ones who leave you feeling energized instead of drained. What do they have in common? Not just, oh, they're women and they're like mums. That's valuable information to know. But it's the heart of people, it's the value and what they're going to recognize and be called into. And that's what resonates, and that's what enables you to get a lot more momentum. And when you're clear on that, nobody tells you what that is. That's what's so amazing about human design. It gives you all this valuable information. It is so cool. So I cannot wait for you to uncover this and really get a handle on what that looks like for you. So before our next episode, it might be worth you thinking about the clients that you would write an order form to the universe saying, I want all of those all the time. Sure, you can do that too, because it's great to set those intentions, but think about what were the common threads in terms of value, or what they valued about you and what you had to share. And then look at it in line with your client key, and how does that line up, and what can you amplify and leverage and do more of? Because that's not doing. It's not depleting your energy. That is enhancing your energy, because you're going to bring in more of the clients that just bring you sheer joy, no matter what your human design. So I'll see you on the next episode.